Hello and welcome to Keeping It Fab Beauty Edition. I was doing my makeup and I figured I would just share a few of the products that I've been really loving lately. I have just a few, so it won't be too long of a video. We can do this more often because, you know, we're beauty lovers, you and I can tell, I know. I'm going to start with this concealer from Cover FX. It is so good. Cover FX is actually a really good brand. This is the Power Play Concealer. Don't be fooled by the size because I know it looks really tiny. This will last you quite a long time because a little bit goes a long way. Has really good coverage, but what I like is that it still looks sort of radiant and dewy in a good way. If you like matte products, I'm sorry, I'm not your girl. I'm just not into the matte finish at all. But this has enough coverage, and like I said, like the finish, it just looks like it makes your eyes. I've been playing around with the application because I've found that the best way for applying this and for it to look the best is with your fingers. But mama ain't got no patience. I can't. I tried with a beauty blender and the Real Techniques brush, which is actually my favorite, but it soaks up a lot of the product and it doesn't end up looking as covered as I would like. So after playing around with a few brushes, I think I found the one that actually works. I mean, if you have the patience to apply with your fingers, always use the ring finger because this is the one that applies the less pressure, and just go around it and you're gonna love the finish. I mean, it's perfect. I actually really like it with the look healthy, and you know, it's not like all dry where you can see lines. It doesn't settle. It's beautiful. The Real Techniques, here we go. I'm like the worst when it comes to focus. This is the Expert Face Brush. It's one of the first brushes that they came out with. You can apply foundation with this, perfect for it. It's just a little small in my opinion for foundation. It takes you a little bit longer, but it applies it perfectly. But for this concealer, it works really well. So you just pat it in and it starts to disappear into your skin. So this brush is perfect for that. And you can find these at Ulta. Sorry, mine is dirty because it's a whole old. I think it's the first kit that I got from Real Techniques. I'm a huge fan of their brushes. They're super affordable, but have that high-end feel. And like I said, I've had mine for a while. Still perfect condition. Just take care of your brushes and they'll last you for a while. Highly recommend this one. Next, I have a foundation. It's actually the foundation that I have on right now. This is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Concealer and Foundation. I have it in the shade Honey Wheat. Is it too dark for me? Yes, it is. But let me just explain to you. Every time that I buy foundation, I always go a shade darker because it just does the job for me. I'm obsessed with self-tanners and I'm obsessed with bronzers and bronzing. Yes, it is. But let me just explain to you. Every time that I buy foundation, I always go a shade darker because it just does the job for me. I'm obsessed with self-tanners and I'm obsessed with bronzers and bronzing. Yes, it is. But let me just explain to you. Every time that I buy foundation, I always go a shade darker because it just does the job for me. I'm obsessed with self-tanners and I'm obsessed with bronzers and bronzing. So if I start with a darker shade of foundation, I'm halfway there. So it's a big help for me. I just make sure to, you know, bring it down to my neck and even everything out. My body's always tan, so that's what I do. I always go a shade darker, but they have a ton of shades, so I'm sure you'll find a shade that'll actually match you. And you know, not a crazy shade like mine. But anyway, this is an amazing foundation. It is full coverage. And the applicator, let me just tell you, this is not my favorite thing in the world, especially because the reason that I bought this was because I had, excuse me, horrific cystic acne. And I was desperately looking for a full coverage foundation. And my sister was the one that recommended this to me because she saw, I believe it was Jordan Liberty, she'll correct me, but I'm pretty sure it was him. And he was talking and like raving about it. So I went to Ulta and I tried it on and I was like, what? It looked so good, so good. So I went to Ulta and I tried it on and I was like, what? It looked so good, so good. if you buy this, I'm going to give you a tip that I actually got from the girl at Ulta that sold it to me. It has a doe foot applicator, which is great. If you don't have breakouts, it's fine. But if you have breakouts, to keep applying it to your face is not the best idea. So what I would do is, and I'm going to talk about the brush that I love. I love you. I love you. I love you. I just grab some product from the applicator on the brush, and then I just start tapping it on. I just think it's a little bit more hygienic to do it that way than to just put it like directly, especially if you had breakouts, which was my case. But let me just tell you, when you get it, it has a plastic here where this goes in, and it's a pain. I mean a pain, because you only get a little bit of product, and then I was so frustrated. I actually went back to return it because of that. Now that I remember, yes. And the girl was like, listen, I completely understand, and that happened to me, but this is what I recommend that you do. And if you still don't like it, just bring it back, because Ulta has the best return policy. So the little plastic that came here, I threw it away. I don't have it anymore. You just pop it open, and then it's open like this. There's nothing left, but you get what I'm saying. So then you're going to get a lot of product. But like I said, you either put it on if you're a beauty blender girl, or the Real Techniques brush, which is my absolute favorite. Or if you want to use a brush, or you can even take it out, put it on your hand, kind of just, like do a little swatch there. And then from there, start applying. I think it's just a little bit more hygienic to do it that way. But I really, really like this foundation, because even though it is full coverage, and it's actually the only product where matte finish is fine, because I know that matte is full coverage. If you want a dewy foundation, it's not going to be full coverage. There's just no way. So, but even though it's matte, it still looks really good on your skin. It applies perfectly. It blends out seamlessly. I freaking love this. Try it out. You're going to love it too. I forgot to mention something pretty important, that it says this is a natural to matte finish. And I feel like that's a really good description, and it's from moderate to full coverage. You can, what I do is I start applying a little bit all over my face. And I mean, when I wear foundation, I wear foundation. I'm not trying to fool you into thinking I'm not wearing makeup. No, I don't care. I love makeup, and if you can tell I'm wearing makeup, good, because it was expensive, if you've seen that meme. But I don't mind, the look of foundation when it's a good look, not that like line of demarcation, or if it looks cakey or horrible. No. But this is something that you can definitely build up depending on the coverage that you need. I'm wearing it today, like I said, and I'm not going to be as brave as to go all the way over there to show you, but I have 3 horrible breakouts today. Horrible. And I'm wearing this foundation, and it's actually covering them up pretty well. And then I did a little bit, like a dab of the concealer, just to make them disappear. Why breakouts? Why? Well, actually, I know why. Because I've been eating cheese, bread, and things that I should not be eating. But this is nothing compared to what I was going through, so I'm not complaining. So now on to the perfect foundation brush. There's a reason why this was, and I think still is, a cult favorite. This is the Morphe M439. I mean, if you watch YouTube bloggers, you've probably seen this a million times. This is the perfect foundation brush. It's just perfect. And it's also $16. So you can find it at Ulta now. I'm so excited that you can find Morphe at Ulta. That's so exciting. I am not a huge online shopper. I know everybody is, but I like going to the store. I like trying things out and then grabbing and taking them with me. I'm not a huge online person, but there's Morphe's online, but they also have it at Ulta now, which is amazing. So anyway, this is, look at it. It's densely packed. Sorry, because I just used, it's not dirty. I had just washed it, but I used it right now to apply my foundation. It is super dense and so soft. Perfect for applying foundation and concealer, actually, also. It's just a little bit, it's a little big. That's why I like the Real Techniques for the concealer, because if you can see, it's actually easier to apply your concealer. It's not too big, and this is more for like a bigger area of your face. But you're gonna love this. Trust me, get it, buy it. It's amazing. The coverage it gives you, it's perfect. It blends everything like a freaking dream. And what I do with the foundation that I just showed you is, like I said, I either put it on my hand and then from here I start grabbing the product and then I start packing it in like this to make sure that it goes into your skin. And it feels so soft and everything there's no stripes, there's no, you know what I mean? It just goes on so perfectly. I love it. And then you can also apply a little bit more on top depending on the type of coverage that you're going for. But this is the perfect foundation brush. Cannot recommend it enough. Morphe, you rock. I have another brush. This brush is so good and it's so inexpensive. This is from e.l.f. Cosmetics and it's their sculpting face brush. This is perfect for contouring. It's exactly what it's for. If you can see, the shape is very, very peculiar and it's perfect because look at this. It just goes where it needs to be and just perfect for contouring your cheeks, your nose, which is something that I always do. I'm not the biggest fan of my nose. It's too wide for me. I don't like it. Even though I've had my nose done maybe like, what was it, like 15 plus years ago, I think. I wish they could have done it just a little bit slimmer. But anyway, I have makeup for that. So this is perfect if you have a creamy contour. And I think I just saw another blogger talk about this brush and she actually uses it with powder. So apparently you can use it with both. And it just, like I said, look, it just goes into the perfect little corners where you need it. And it blends everything perfectly. So just, you know, apply your product either directly to your nose or you can apply it to the brush and then just start sort of tapping it in. It's perfect. And you can do it right here. Insta cheek, just do your fishy face. And then here and around your forehead. Even if you want to do like a little bit of a slimmer look here, it goes in perfectly. I love this brush. It is super inexpensive. You can find it everywhere, drugstores, supermarkets, Target, everywhere. Highly, highly recommend it. The e.l.f. Sculpting Face Brush. So those are a few of my favorites that I'm really, really loving. And I have a lot more, but I figured I would do them in small little videos because otherwise this just gets long and it might get boring and I don't